Hi everybody, thanks for watching. Welcome to 51 Drones, where my channel is about learning how to fly a drone from a beginner's perspective. In particular, the DJI Mavic Pro. This is sort of a drone diary for me, and hopefully the information that I provide is something that you guys can take and use when you're learning how to fly your Mavic Pro. So today's topic is going to be the Waypoints mode on the Intelligent Flight Modes for the Mavic Pro. Now, I haven't done Intelligent Flight Modes for a while, so it's long overdue. So hopefully you guys get some information out of this that you can use. Basically, the Waypoints mode, you guys, if you don't know what it is, it's kind of like breadcrumbs. You know how Hansel and Gretel dropped breadcrumbs to find their way back home? That's kind of what waypoints are. You're dropping breadcrumbs to show your Mavic which way that you want it to go. So the Waypoints mode is very useful for a couple of situations. Number one, if you're going to be filming an event of some kind, but you don't want to be controlling your drone while the event is going on, you can actually set up the waypoints to film however you want it to before the event happens. And then when you come back and you're actually participating in this event, all you have to do is put your Mavic up, set the Waypoints mode, hit save missions, and then go ahead and record. And you don't even have to control your Mavic at all. It does all of the work for you. Another way to use the Waypoints mode is to get some consistent footage of the same scene. And that's what I'm going to use it for today. I'm going to show you guys something. You know, we're doing some construction near my neighborhood here, and they're turning a 2-lane highway into a 4-lane highway. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set some waypoints and travel along that 2-lane, and as they complete their construction, you know, every 3 or 4 days I'm going to put the Mavic up. I'm going to run that same waypoint mission, and hopefully at the end, what I'm going to do is do kind of a progressive time lapse. And so it'll start off as a 2-lane, and then as the Mavic travels through down the highway, it'll turn into a 4-lane. So I don't know if it's going to work, but I think it'll be pretty cool if it does. And if it doesn't, it's still a good way to practice the waypoint mode. So what I'm going to show you basically is how to engage the waypoint mode, how to set your waypoints, how to run a saved mission, and then just a couple things that you need to consider when you're setting up your waypoints, because if you don't do it right, you're not going to get the footage that you want. So let's get the Mavic up and get right to it. Okay, you guys, I'm just going to speed this up a little bit and head over to our first waypoint. If you look straight ahead there, you'll see some smoldering smoke. We had a pretty big fire in our town yesterday actually. We lost a recycling center, some cardboard caught on fire. It was a pretty big fire. I did put the Mavic up. I got a couple of shots and then I put it right back down because I actually wasn't sure of the legality of it. So I didn't want to get in too much trouble. So I just got a couple of pictures and a couple of seconds of video of it because it was pretty amazing. So as you can see, here's the highway that they are expanding from a 2-lane into a 4-lane. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a really short waypoint mission here because I don't want this video to turn into something that's too long and you guys get bored with it. So basically what you need to do, guys, is get your drone into the position that you want it to be at. Now, a couple of things you need to pay attention to. First of all, your height. Like right now I'm at 327 feet and that's about where I want to be. The other thing is check your horizon, because every time that you start a waypoint mission, you're going to have to set your gimbal to where it was last time if you want to have a consistent recording. And so to keep it simple for myself, I'm just going to put the horizon right at the top of the screen because then I'll remember to set it there every time. Now when you get to where you want to be, you go ahead and click your little remote controller there and click on waypoints. Excuse me. Now when you get to this point, what you want to do is start recording waypoints, and then in the upper right hand corner you'll see the little gear, which is the settings. Go ahead and click on that, and then there's a couple of things you need to look at. First of all, the aircraft heading. Now when you record your waypoints, there's 3 different options, and what this is, the heading of your Mavic or the front end of your Mavic will be dependent upon what you choose. And so consistent with record is wherever your Mavic is facing, when you hit that C1 or that record button, that's where it's going to move to when it's running the waypoint mission. Consistent with route is no matter where your Mavic is facing, it's always going to face in the same direction of the waypoints when you run your mission. So from waypoint 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, it's going to face that direction. Even if your Mavic is pointing, you know, to the right or to the left, when you set your waypoint, if you run it consistent with route, it's going to keep that same heading from waypoint to waypoint. And then the free mode actually gives you, it's pretty self-explanatory, it's free mode. You can adjust the yaw while it's running its mission. And so what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm just going to do consistent with record. I'm going to move the flight velocity all the way up to 22.4. That's as high as it goes, because again, I don't want this video to turn too long. You go ahead and hit apply. Whoops. First you got to back out, and then you got to set waypoints. So right now I'm going to set the first waypoint. I'm going to click that C1 button on the back of my controller, and you'll see a number 1 pop up right there on your map. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and move forward. Now I'm going to speed this up in post, so if you notice that the Mavic is moving more quickly than it looks on the miles per hour, that's why I'm going to speed it up. Okay, so we have arrived at the second spot that I want to create a waypoint. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to yaw to the right. Alright, I'm going to just get a view of that neighborhood right there. And then I'm going to set my waypoint. Okay, so there's the second waypoint. And then I'm going to yaw back to the straight ahead. And then we're going to move ahead. And again, I'm going to speed this up. Okay, so now I have arrived at the third waypoint, and what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to yaw to the left and get a shot of that golf course and those trees right there. I'm going to hit C1, and that's the third waypoint. And then I'm going to go just a little bit further, just over the river, and set our final waypoint. Okay, so for this final waypoint, I'm just going to keep it pointed straight ahead, hit C1, and there I have my 4 waypoints. Once you have all your waypoints set, just go ahead and hit done, and it will check your return to home altitude, and then you go ahead and hit apply, and then it will upload the waypoints to the aircraft, and then the Mavic will actually travel by itself all the way back up to where you first set your very first waypoint. Once again, I'll speed this up. Okay, so once it reaches that first waypoint, it's going to go ahead and engage that mission. Now what you'll notice here is it's starting to yaw to the right, and the reason for that is when I set that second waypoint, I actually rotated the drone to the right. And so instead of going to the waypoint and then turning sharply, it actually makes smooth motion out of that turn. And so, you know, you don't even, without even having to try, you can get some cinematic footage. It's really slow, it's really deliberate and controlled, and that's pretty cool. So once it reaches that waypoint, now what it's going to do, it's actually going to rotate to the left. And the reason for that is because when I set that third waypoint, I had the Mavic rotated or yawed to the left. So it's going to gradually get to that position as it approaches that third waypoint. And then finally, after it hits that third waypoint, it's going to rotate back to the straight position, because in my final waypoint, I had it pointed straight ahead. And that completes the mission. So now what we're going to do, we're going to head back up to the beginning, and we're going to run the consistent with route option. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. Okay, and once you reach that position, you go ahead and open up the Waypoints mode, and then you're going to click on Saved Missions. Now that's going to be the one right at the top, but one thing you need to change at the top here, you hit the gear, and then aircraft heading, we're going to do the consistent with route, and you'll see the difference here. Go ahead and hit Apply, check your return to home altitude, apply, it will upload to the drone. Timed out, so we're going to try it again, and there we go. Well, I guess I didn't back up far enough, so we're gonna go ahead and wait for that to return to the position. Now, one thing, you guys, you can adjust the gimbal while it's running a waypoint mission. So if you suddenly realize, oh, I forgot to change my camera position, you can do that while it's running a waypoint mission. Now, what you'll notice here is, since we're doing consistent with route, what it's doing is it's keeping the same position. From waypoint 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 is going to point straight ahead. You know, even though I set those waypoints and I was yawed to the right for this position, it's not going to follow that. It's going to follow consistent with route. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up for the rest of this example. Okay, so now that we got to that point, one more time we're going to zip up to the starting point. And once you get here, you're going to hit waypoints again. You're going to go to saved missions. You're going to click on your controls, change your aircraft heading to free mode, apply. Check your return to home, apply. It will upload to your Mavic, and then it will run the mission. Now you'll see here, it will travel in the position of the waypoints, but if you want, you can yaw to the left and it will stay there. If you yaw to the right, it will stay there. You can spin it all the way around and it will travel backwards. So, pretty cool. I do like the free mode. It does give you a little more control. But like I said, if you're doing an event and you just don't want to mess with controlling it, you can just let it do all the work for you. So hopefully this works out. I'm going to turn this into, like I said, progressive time lapse. I really don't know if it's going to turn out. This is going to take, they said, about 4 months to complete. And so it's going to be a long mission, but hopefully I get something that I can show you guys this fall. Okay, so there you have the Waypoints Intelligent Flight Mode on the Mavic Pro. It's really cool. I really like it. I think I will use that not only for that situation where I want to get a progressive time lapse of that road construction, but I think I'm going to use it to try to get some cinematic footage in other places, because I really like how it slowly turns between each waypoint. That's really cool. And so you guys try out the Waypoint Mode. I highly recommend it. If you guys got any questions about this video or any way that I did anything, if you got any comments about anything, please put those down below in the comments. If you guys like this video and you got anything out of it, hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It makes me feel good. It makes you feel great. And if you're not a subscriber, you're just swinging by the channel and checking this out, go ahead and subscribe. We'd love to have you. You know, we got a pretty cool subscriber base. We have really engaged people. We have really nice people. And so we'd love to have you guys. You know, the more people we can get, the more we can learn from each other. And that's my ultimate goal. So please consider clicking on that subscribe button. As always, you guys, fly safe and fly smart.